What if the reason people keep staring at you isn't because you've changed your face, but because you've changed something far deeper? What if your youthful appearance isn't confusing them, it is exposing everything they believed about aging, suffering, and the human spirit? Today, you'll discover why some people become more magnetic with age, while others slowly disappear behind stress and regret. By the end of this journey, you'll understand the hidden psychological force that may be making your appearance unforgettable, and why it leaves certain people speechless. If this message is helping you understand why true transformation begins from within, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Every week, we explore the hidden psychological patterns that shape identity, relationships, confidence, and personal growth. Stay with us, because the most powerful revelation is still ahead. Most people believe youth is measured by the number of birthdays they have celebrated. They look for answers in skin care, expensive treatments, or lucky genetics. Yet they overlook something far more powerful. Every thought you repeat, every emotion you hold on to, and every burden you refuse to release quietly leaves its mark on your face. Long before wrinkles appear, your inner world begins shaping the way others see you. This is why two people of the same age can look as though they belong to completely different generations. One carries the weight of constant inner conflict, while the other carries a quiet peace that cannot be purchased. The human face is more than skin and bone. It is a living record of countless emotional experiences. Fear tightens the muscles. Bitterness hardens the eyes. Constant anxiety steals softness from the expression. But purpose, gratitude, and emotional balance create something difficult to explain. They produce a calm presence that people instinctively notice. This is why some individuals seem to glow without wearing anything extraordinary. Their appearance is not simply attractive. It reflects a mind that is no longer at war with itself. People often assume they are reacting to physical beauty, when in reality, they are responding to psychological energy. A relaxed posture, steady eye contact, genuine confidence, and emotional security communicate something deeper than appearance alone. The unconscious mind notices these signals before the conscious mind forms an opinion. Someone may say, "You look younger than ever," when what they truly sense is a person who has become emotionally lighter, more authentic, and less controlled by fear. They mistake inner transformation for physical youth because the two often become inseparable. This explains why your appearance may surprise people who have not seen you in years. They expected life to exhaust you. They expected disappointment to leave visible scars. Instead, they find someone whose face carries greater peace than before. That unexpected contrast creates confusion. They search for cosmetic secrets or ask about your diet, but the answer may lie in something much deeper. You stopped fighting yourself. You released old emotional burdens. You became more aligned with who you truly are, and your face quietly began telling that story. The greatest transformation does not happen in front of a mirror. It happens in the silent moments when you choose growth over resentment, courage over fear, and authenticity over pretending. As this inner change becomes permanent, your outer presence naturally follows. People may never fully understand why you seem different. They will simply notice that you carry an unusual vitality, a timeless confidence, and a peaceful expression that refuses to fade. What shocks them is not merely that you look younger than your age. What truly unsettles them is that your inner evolution has become impossible to hide. The world measures your life by calendars, birthdays, and the passing of years. It assumes that age is simply a number that increases with time. But there is another kind of age that cannot be counted on a clock. It is the age of your mind, your spirit, and your emotional life. This invisible age often determines how others experience your presence far more than the date written on your birth certificate. That is why some people seem old long before their hair turns gray, while others remain remarkably vibrant decades later. Psychological age is shaped by the way you respond to life's challenges, not by how many years you have lived. A person who carries unresolved anger, constant fear, or endless regret may begin to look exhausted even in youth. Their expression becomes heavy, their posture uncertain, and their energy quietly fades. On the other hand, someone who learns from pain instead of becoming trapped by it develops a different kind of strength. Their eyes remain curious, their movements retain confidence, and their presence communicates life instead of weariness. This difference becomes obvious when people meet someone they have not seen in years. They expect time to have left the same marks on everyone. Instead, they discover that one person appears much younger than expected, while another seems to have aged far beyond the calendar. They often search for physical explanations, wondering about genetics, exercise, or skincare. Yet what they are witnessing may be the result of years spent cultivating emotional resilience, self-awareness, and inner peace. The mind has quietly influenced the body in ways few people ever consider. There is another reason this surprises people. Most individuals unconsciously believe that growing older automatically means becoming weaker, less energetic, and less attractive. When they encounter someone who seems untouched by those expectations, it challenges everything they assumed about aging. They are forced to question whether time alone is responsible for the changes they see in themselves. Your appearance becomes more than a personal characteristic. It becomes evidence that inner development can shape the way the passage of time is expressed on the human face. Perhaps the greatest secret is that psychological youth has little to do with pretending to be young. It comes from remaining open to learning, embracing change, releasing emotional burdens, and refusing to let bitterness define your identity. When your inner world stays alive with purpose and curiosity, your outer presence naturally reflects that vitality. People may compliment your youthful appearance, but what they are truly noticing is something much deeper. They are witnessing a person whose inner life has continued to grow, even as the years have continued to pass. There comes a moment in life when a person quietly stops living to satisfy the expectations of everyone else. They no longer chase approval, fear rejection, or shape their identity around the opinions of strangers. Instead, they begin the difficult journey of becoming who they truly are. This transformation is rarely dramatic on the outside at first, yet it changes everything beneath the surface. Over time, that inner authenticity starts revealing itself through their expression, their confidence, and the calm certainty they carry wherever they go. People notice something has changed, even if they cannot explain what it is. Many people spend years wearing invisible masks. They hide their true emotions, silence their deepest values, and constantly adjust themselves to fit into the world around them. While these masks may create temporary acceptance, they also demand tremendous emotional energy. Carrying that burden day after day creates tension that slowly becomes visible in the body. The face loses its natural softness, the eyes lose their spark, and the personality begins to feel divided. A life built on constant performance eventually leaves visible traces that no cosmetic treatment can erase. The moment a person begins living with greater honesty, much of that hidden tension starts to disappear. They no longer waste energy pretending to be someone they are not. Their thoughts, emotions, and actions become more aligned, creating an inner harmony that naturally influences their appearance. Their smile becomes genuine instead of forced. Their posture becomes relaxed instead of defensive. Their eyes begin reflecting confidence rather than uncertainty.
This quiet alignment creates a powerful presence that others often mistake for physical attractiveness or unusual youthfulness, when in reality they are witnessing the effects of psychological wholeness.
This is why your transformation may surprise people who knew an earlier version of you. They remember someone who constantly sought approval, worried about fitting in, or carried emotional uncertainty. Now they encounter someone who appears lighter, calmer, and remarkably confident. They search for external explanations, wondering what changed in your routine or appearance. What they fail to recognize is that the greatest change happened within your identity. You stopped trying to become acceptable to everyone else and finally became authentic to yourself. That invisible shift is often far more noticeable than any physical change. The greatest beauty is not created by perfect features or endless youth. It emerges when a person's inner and outer worlds no longer fight each other. Authenticity has a quiet magnetism because it requires enormous courage. Few people are willing to face themselves honestly, release false identities, and live according to their deepest values. Those who do often develop a timeless presence that cannot be measured by age alone. People may say you look younger than your years, but what truly captures their attention is that you have become completely yourself. And that kind of transformation leaves an unforgettable impression. One of the greatest misunderstandings about human relationships is the belief that people always see you as you truly are. In reality, they often see you through the lens of their own fears, desires, insecurities, and unfulfilled dreams. What they admire, criticize, or envy in you frequently reveals more about their own inner world than it does about yours. This is why your appearance can trigger surprisingly different reactions. One person sees confidence, another sees arrogance. One sees inspiration, another feels threatened. The difference lies less in your face and more in the mind of the observer. When people are shocked by how young you look or how gracefully you have aged, their reaction is rarely about your appearance alone. Your presence quietly confronts their expectations about life, time, and personal growth. If they have accepted the belief that stress, disappointment, and aging inevitably drain a person's vitality, then seeing someone who radiates calm energy and quiet confidence forces them to question those beliefs. Instead of immediately examining their own assumptions, many unconsciously project their confusion onto you. They assume you must possess some secret because accepting a deeper explanation would require them to look inward. This becomes even more noticeable among people who knew you in the past. They remember an earlier version of you and unconsciously expect you to remain the same. When they discover that you have become more peaceful, emotionally grounded, and confident, their minds struggle to reconcile the difference. Some respond with admiration, while others react with skepticism or jealousy. Their response often depends on whether your growth inspires them to evolve or reminds them of changes they have avoided in their own lives. The same transformation that encourages one person can quietly unsettle another. Human beings constantly compare themselves with those around them, often without realizing it. When someone sees you looking healthier, calmer, or more youthful than expected, they may begin measuring their own life against yours. They wonder why your energy appears stronger while they feel increasingly exhausted. Instead of recognizing that emotional habits, self-awareness, and inner peace shape much of what they see, they may search for simpler explanations. They talk about luck, genetics, expensive products, or fortunate circumstances because these answers are easier than confronting the emotional patterns that may be affecting their own lives. This is why the wisest response is not to chase everyone's approval or to explain your transformation to every curious observer. Their opinions are often reflections of their own psychological landscape rather than objective judgments about you. Your responsibility is not to manage their projections, but to remain faithful to your own inner development. The more authentic, emotionally balanced, and self-aware you become, the more your presence will naturally influence others. Some will be inspired, some will be confused, and some may even feel uncomfortable. Yet all of these reactions reveal one powerful truth. People are often responding not only to how you look, but to the deeper transformation they unconsciously sense within you. Few people realize that emotional burdens do not remain hidden inside the mind forever. Every resentment that is never released, every fear that is constantly rehearsed, and every painful memory that continues to control your thoughts quietly shapes your body over time. Stress changes the way you breathe, the way you stand, and even the expression you wear without noticing it. Many people spend years trying to look younger on the outside while carrying emotional weight that continually ages them from within. The body often reflects what the heart refuses to let go. Emotional freedom begins when you stop allowing yesterday's pain to dictate today's identity. It does not mean forgetting every wound or pretending difficult experiences never happened. Instead, it means refusing to let those experiences become the foundation of who you are. When you release bitterness, forgive without necessarily forgetting, and accept the lessons hidden inside hardship, your nervous system gradually leaves a constant state of tension. As your mind becomes calmer, your face softens, your eyes brighten, and your entire presence begins to communicate peace rather than struggle. This transformation is rarely dramatic overnight, but it becomes unmistakable over the years. People who have not seen you for a long time may struggle to understand why you seem different. They notice that your smile appears more genuine, your posture more confident, and your expression more relaxed. They assume you have discovered a remarkable beauty secret or some expensive routine. What they fail to recognize is that the greatest change happened beneath the surface. You stopped carrying emotional battles that no longer belonged in your future. There is a quiet strength that develops when a person is no longer controlled by the need to prove themselves, seek revenge, or gain constant approval. Emotional freedom creates an inner stability that cannot easily be shaken by criticism or comparison. Instead of reacting to every challenge, you begin responding with patience and clarity. This calmness affects every interaction. People feel comfortable around you because your presence is no longer filled with hidden tension. Without realizing it, they associate this emotional balance with youthfulness, vitality, and lasting confidence. Perhaps this is why your appearance surprises so many people today. They expected life's difficulties to leave permanent marks on your spirit, just as they often do on the faces of those who remain trapped in regret and fear. Instead, they see someone who seems lighter, stronger, and more alive than before. What truly shocks them is not simply that you look younger than your age. It is that you carry yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who has made peace with the past, embraced the present, and no longer allows emotional chains to define the future. Not everyone is comfortable witnessing another person's transformation. While some celebrate your growth with genuine happiness, others become strangely silent, distant, or even critical. It may seem confusing at first, especially if you have done nothing to harm them, but the discomfort they feel is often not caused by your success, your appearance, or your confidence. It is caused by what your transformation quietly reflects back to them. Your presence becomes a reminder of possibilities they abandoned, dreams they postponed, or changes they were too afraid to make. Many people unconsciously create fixed stories about those around them. They decide who is likely to succeed, who will remain insecure, and who will always stay the same. These mental images allow them to feel certain about the world. But when you begin changing in ways they never expected, becoming calmer, healthier, more confident, and even looking younger than before, you break the story they had written about you. Instead of adjusting their beliefs, some resist the evidence standing before them. They may dismiss your growth as luck, coincidence, or temporary change because accepting your transformation would force them to question their own assumptions. This reaction becomes even stronger when your inner growth is visible without you saying a single word. You no longer seek validation from people who once controlled your emotions. You stop reacting to criticism with anger or insecurity. You carry yourself with quiet confidence instead of desperate approval seeking. Such changes can be deeply unsettling for those who expected you to remain emotionally dependent on their opinions. Your silence, your peace, and your emotional independence become more powerful than any argument you could ever make.
Ironically, the people who are most disturbed are often those who secretly recognize the same potential within themselves. Deep inside, they know they could also heal, grow, and transform. But doing so would require confronting fears they have spent years avoiding. Rather than facing that uncomfortable truth, it becomes easier to question your change than to begin their own. This is why genuine transformation often attracts both admiration and resistance at the same time. The same light that inspires one person may expose another's reluctance to leave the shadows behind.
The lesson is simple, yet profound. Never measure the value of your transformation by the reactions it receives. Some people will applaud you, others will misunderstand you, and a few may quietly resent the peace you have found. None of these responses should